Hello and welcome back to the third episode of Form Check Friday and wasting no time. We've got a lot of clips on the subreddit this time and I want to go faster through the clips compared to the last few weeks, so let's get started. So let's play this clip through, reload it. So we're going for the full front lever and we go to the straddle and that's it. So we're going to play that through again because it's kind of a shorter clip and pause it about halfway through your front. So the front lever, so it's kind of similar to the planche because it's a straight body line movement, so we want this straight line with our body as well as it's a straight arm movement. So those are similarities. However, it's a pulling movement, which means we're trying to move our hands towards the center of mass rather than pushing our hands away, which is why it's a pulling movement, as well as using this predominant pulling muscle of the lats and the other muscles of the upper back. So of course we know we want that straight line with the body and the arms, so first let's go with the arms. So are the arms straight? And this can happen sometimes where it doesn't really look like the arms are straight, it kind of looks like this. So really, to clean that up, you want to focus on contracting your triceps while you do this, really elongating the arms to make sure it's clear that your arms are straight, really to clean it up. The next thing is, instead of protraction like you want in the planche, you want retraction. So protraction is where you kind of get this kind of smoothing of the back, while retraction in the front lever, it will look a lot flatter. So you can learn the front lever with this slight protraction, but it is harder. It's also more of an aesthetic thing. As you get stronger you could do this, but I'd suggest work on the retraction. You can do this exercise where you put your feet on the floor, arms still here, and then you can kind of do almost like scapular push-ups, except you're in a front lever position. So you retract and you kind of go up and down, retract and protract like that. That can work as well as Australian pull-ups. The next thing is your body line. So if we kind of link up your joints and imagine your feet are here, then you can see your hips are kind of dipping down. When the hips are dipping down in the front lever, you're shortening the length of the lever, which again makes it easier to hold. So a combination of two things will help. Thrusting upwards, so doing inverted deadlifts, regular deadlifts can even help with this. Bring the hips through. Think of deadlifting if you've done a deadlift before. As well as strengthening the lats, so you can do these front lever pulls where you pull your feet upwards towards the bar, hold it still with straight arms. That's a good one as well. So as your lat strength increases, as well as being able to bring your hips through and keep that straight line while keeping your glutes activated, you know, and then of course we want the legs tense. That will clean up your front lever. So I hope that helps, and let's move on to the next clip. Okay guys, next we have an advanced tuck. So the caption was improving my advanced tuck, and we're going to look and see if you are improving. And from what I can see, it definitely looks like you are. That's a pretty decent hold for an advanced tuck. And as you guys know, this was the one, or the progression I really struggled with for the planche, more than straddle and more than getting front. So we're going to pause it here, get the pen tool out if we can, and the first thing we're going to look at is the arms. Are the arms straight? Because of course the planche is straight arm movement, so I don't see a kink in the elbows. The elbows are looking pretty straight here, as well as the contraction of the triceps, all leading me to believe the arms are straight. So I'm going to give that a tick. Next thing, are we protracting? And it's hard to see because of the angle, the camera's looking up, but as you can see here, the serratus anterior, it's kind of popping out here. That's a muscle that when you're protracting really pops out if you're of a lower body fat percentage especially, and it's a muscle that helps the kind of movement of the body around the rib cage, especially when the shoulders are coming down like this. It helps kind of stabilize those muscles and the body. So from that, I'm going to guess you are protracting. I'm going to give it a tick for now, but make sure you guys are always working on your protraction. The next thing is the hips. Are the hips in line with the shoulders? And as you can see, they're slightly lower, so we need to get the hips up. How would we do this? We do this by pushing down into the bars further, or with more strength, and that's going to require more shoulder strength. And of course we're in the advanced tuck, so we're leaning further this way, over the hands, so we need to get used to being in that position while protracting. So you're going to do things like your planche leans, your pseudo planche push-ups. I've made videos on this as well, so you guys can check that. If you're struggling with the advanced tuck, work on those exercises. And the last thing is the lower body tension. It's a tension in the lower body. Are you keeping tension in the lower body? You are. You can see he's pointing the toes, and I almost forgot the posterior pelvic tilt. Are you posteriorly tilting your pelvis? which is downwards, or are you anteriorly tilting, which is kind of going upwards like this? And as you can see, he is posteriorly tilting. You see like this rounding of the lower back and towards the glutes. So I'm going to give that a tick as well. So the main thing is just going to be just do what you're doing. It's working, and then you'll be able to get the hips up high over time. Yeah, it's looking good. So let's move on to the next clip. Okay guys, we got a straddle planche attempt here. The guy said it's not a hold, but I guess wants a form check anyway. So the camera glitch is out here, but we go into the straddle from the tuck. We're doing this on the floor without parallel, so let's reload that again. It's going to be hard to see. We're going to have to pause this one because yeah, the camera glitches there, and then we go into the straddle. So you're in it very briefly. Let's try and break this down as much as we can. Let's quickly go through this. So you're going into the straddle, but of course you don't have all the strength to hold it, you know, stably yet. So keep doing what you're doing to work on this. These attempts are really good. You know, this is how it was when I was learning the straddle, but of course you see you're kind of losing the hold and falling forward. So try and make sure you're releasing into it slowly, and make sure you're doing kind of lower progressions that are more manageable with the balance and strength. Because as you lean more, and because you're doing this on the floor without parallettes, you're gonna rely a lot on your hands for balance. So if you're focusing only on leaning and not the balance, you're gonna fall kind of forward like you see you do here. Like you see, you kind of fall straight forward. That might be because it's just an attempt as well, and you can't really hold it yet. But that's the thing. And then I think the other things are going to be pretty obvious, you know, bring the hips down. But what I'd suggest is, instead of doing this, trying to go for a full straddle, just go for a piked one. So do what you're doing, keep the hands here because the arms are straight, and then just have the legs a bit lower like this, and just work on balancing that. I think you'd have the strength to hold that, so that's what I'd suggest, and it's one of the methods I use to learn the straddle planche. So I hope that helps, and let's move on to the next clip. So guys, we got an advanced tuck front lever, and I think this guy says he's progressing with it and just wants a form check. So we're going to look through that. You can see they start up with their knees by the bar and then drop down into the advanced tuck. And that's the first thing I want to talk about. Because you start up here, you can see, and then drop down into it. My suggestion is, when you want to do your attempts of the advanced tuck, drop down a bit quicker. The only reason I say this is so you can spend more time in this position with your hips in line with the shoulders. The more time you can spend in this position, the better you'll get at it. If you don't want to do that, if you find it better for like getting your muscles ready and prepped, then yeah, that's fine as well. You can drop slow and do it that way, whichever way is preferred. But if you can spend more time in this position, I would suggest doing that. You are dropping down into it, which is really good because you're stronger in that eccentric dropping down. But because this is an attempt, not really like an exercise, it's not really like a front lever pull negative, I suggest just go straight into it and then just spend more time in that, and you'll get a lot of gains just from doing that. But whichever way you want to do it is fine. I think besides that, there's not much else really going on that I need to comment on. Your arms look straight. I'm guessing you're retracted because your shoulders are in line. Can't really tell much from this angle, and it's a little bit dark, but I'm gonna say it's looking really good. You seem really controlled, and yeah, just keep going with it. The advanced tuck front lever is looking good. And guys, don't forget, we're sponsored by Gore Nation. I don't know if you can see it, I'm wearing the street workout hoodie, a little SW there on the back. We got the street workout oversized hoodie, as well as, almost forgot, I'm wearing the new pink Gore Nation shorts as well. You won't be able to see that, but so guys, if you want some new clothing to wear to that calisthenics park, you know where to go. Gore Nation, link is in the description, and use that code JACK10. It's really helping me out. Thank you to everyone using it, but let's get on with the form checks. Next, we got a single leg front lever attempt, so let's give this a play through. We start in an advanced tuck, bring one leg out, and then try and straighten it like that. And then we hold as far as we can and drop down. Okay. So let's play that through, and then we'll stop again once you've got your leg extended, which I think is about here. So the front lever, of course, you know, we're looking for the normal things we always are, the straight arms, the body line. But the one thing about the single leg front lever, why some people don't like it, is sort of for this reason. Because this knee is bent, it tends to make the lower body kind of round and go upwards like this sometimes for some people. If you don't have the mobility to really squeeze this one glute and bring this leg down, because you see your leg should be here in line with the body, if you don't really have the mobility, like you're tight in this leg, so it's going to restrict this leg coming downwards, it can really stop your progression because you're not really working where you should with your whole body in line. That's why some people go against the single leg front lever and instead prefer the straddle. What I'd suggest is, instead of bringing the knee further back like this, instead have it more in an advanced tuck position, a bit more like 90 degrees, if you see that. Have it a bit more 90 degrees like this, if that's a bit clearer now, because that will help you bring the second leg out straight, and that's the main thing I think you've got to work on. A bit more retraction I think would be good if you get that full retraction, but again, some people do prefer the back like this, but I think as long as you're thinking about tucking this all upwards, then that's good. But that'll be the main thing I suggest. The other stuff is looking good. You keep in tension in the lower body, straight arms from what I can see, so that's the main thing I suggest. Okay guys, the next guy we have on the channel, this guy actually shouted me out on TikTok. He had a whole TikTok about the best 3 YouTube channels to follow if you're learning calisthenics or the planche, and he shouted me out, so thanks for that, Pierre Sciolti, I hope that's right. I don't know if this was a form check, but we're going to check it out anyway, you know, because this guy shouted me out, so, you know, it's the least we could do. So he's on his kind of advanced tuck grind, and he's got his little dog in there. And to be honest, it's looking real good. I just want to stop it right here. If you are looking for your advanced tuck, this is what you want in protraction. That is looking good. That's looking for protraction. That's what you kind of want to see. You can see the serratus anterior that I'm talking about here. When your lower body fat percentage, you can see it popping. It's got the lower body tension. You can see the tension in the calves. That's what happens to me as well. And the straight arms, you can see the triceps contracting there. So it's looking pretty good. He looks like he's on the grind. He's trying to hold it as long as he can. Yeah, keep going. Follow this guy on TikTok. He looks like he's doing well. Like he's doing, yeah, no problems. Okay, the next one, another straddle, but this isn't so good. Haha, lower back is compromised. Hashtag vegan athlete. Hey, vegan athlete. If any of you guys are vegan, let me know, because I love seeing that. I sometimes it feels like you're the only one that's vegan. So if anyone's, you know, pescatarian, vegan, vegetarian, let me know, because I find that interesting, because, you know, we're alone out here sometimes, you know, it's lonely out here. But anyway, this straddle attempt, and I'm liking it, you know. I'm liking this one more than your half lay attempt. So if you were thinking, oh, which one should I kind of carry on doing, I'd say this. This is looking pretty nice. Yeah, it's looking pretty nice. This is like a kind of frog straddle planche. This is one of the progressions I kind of mentioned for learning the straddle planche. You can see, just try not to bring the hips too high, and just work on bringing your knees in like this and having them out like that. I hope that makes sense. So don't worry too much about bringing them out, because of course you see you have to lean, and that kind of messes with the strength a little bit, but you hold it a decent amount of time. Even this, look at that. All you have to do is start pointing your legs, which will extend the lever a little bit. But if you manage to do that when you're fresh, you know, try and maintain that protraction here. You're losing the protraction a little bit. So I feel like you're like me, that protraction is my weakness. So you really want to focus on this, doing the scapular push-ups, the leans, stuff like that, the pseudo planche push-ups while maintaining complete protraction. So you want to make sure you don't lean too much when you do this. But this is looking good, my guy. Yeah, I like it. I was about to say I like it, Picasso, if you guys get that. But anyway, let's move on to the next form check. We got the next form check. This person says, I'm 13 years old and I'm working hard on my straddle planche. I'd really love to get some advice. So this person is 13. I was about to say 17. 13. Imagine. Imagine how strong the younger generation is going to be. And look at that. It's insane. So he does one and he says, nah, wait, let me go again. I've got more in me. And yeah, when you're 13, man, you've got so much energy. You can planche all day. Okay, let's stop it here. And do a form check to actually help you out a little bit. So you can see the hips, they're a little bit higher than the shoulders a little bit. You can see how you're dipping down. You've got really good mobility, like you're really nicely straddled, which is going to help you out. But don't rely too much on this wide straddle, because you want to start bringing your legs together, you know, to get used to that full planche. So don't get too used to super wide straddling. But this is really good. Your straight arms, you know, looking good. I don't see any problem there. Because your hips are kind of up like this, it does make it harder to protract when your hips are this high up. So I'll focus on bringing the hips down. A way to do that is by leaning a bit more forward. When you do that, your hips will naturally come down, and then you can kind of focus on this protraction a lot more. So the first thing I'd focus on is getting a bit more lean. The hips will come down slightly, and then from there you work on keeping that protraction. And I think you can do it because you did this hold, and you see how you drop down like that. I think you lean slightly forward as you come down, but of course you're getting tired as well. And you go again. So let's see if there's any different. Similar thing. So yeah, I'd work on just getting that bit more lean so the hips come down, and then yeah, working on that protraction after that. But yeah, really good job, man. It's looking sick. So guys, I'm gonna leave it there for this week's Form Check Friday. Thank you guys so much for submitting. As I've been recording this, you guys are still submitting. So for all of you that submitted yesterday, you guys will be in next week's Form Check Friday. And those of you that asked questions, I'm gonna answer those now on the subreddit. So get your questions in. So guys, get your calisthenics drip from gorenation.com. Use the code JACK10. And without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next Form Check Friday.